I'm attempting to make the nicest doghouse I've ever made. So far what we've done, we've framed up the inside for the window. I've cut out the actual siding for it. Now I've put a screw up here in this top corner. I plumbed it and leveled it. So level, plumb. If one of them's right, they both should be right in theory, but you know, for our window, doors, you want to, measure everything. And so at this point, it's just a matter of put a bunch of screws in it, and then the windows will be done for the day. After that, we'll come back and we'll still have to caulk all around it, and we'll put trim around it. But my doghouse has windows. I'm excited. Well, there you go. So the second window I've installed in my entire life is installed. It's just a little after 6, laid the girls down, did a couple of chores, a couple of quick little things outside, and now I finally can get back to the project. So I think since it is a small space and it's easy to get it cluttered, I think I'm gonna take a few minutes, clean everything up, organize the tools again, just kind of reset, and just get started. So, because yeah, as of yesterday, we got the windows in, and this morning, what little time I had, I did the spray foam around the windows and around the air conditioner. So I need to clean all that up still. And for these small spaces, if I have extra in the can, I like to fill them up, just because the can's kind of wasted. It's kind of a one-shot deal. So if you use it, but you don't use it all, I like finding places that I can just use up the rest of it. And I don't like putting the fiberglass insulation in these small cavities. It's just kind of a pain in the butt. I like to save the bigger cavities for that. So these small little spaces work really well as a place to use up the last little foam. So, and it's easy to trim up. But I guess I got the baby monitor there. Air conditioner just kicked off. We got a big thunderstorm rolling through, so that's kind of cool. I guess I'll just start cleaning up. Once I get the actual building done, I need to bring in the skid steer with the grapple, rip out this dead chicken coop. But there is the new window and the air conditioner. Figure that is on the opposite side from the house, so we really won't see it much, but hopefully we'll just kind of clean that up, trim it out, seal it up really good, so it's not a big deal. And it can just live there forever. All right. Hey, Windsor. Hey, buddy. Okay, so the lights that we're using, we just picked them up from one of the big box stores. So the Portfolio Outdoor, they're actual deck lights. So they're an outside light. We like them because they actually have a rubber gasket around the glass. So in theory, we shouldn't get bugs collecting in them. Shouldn't get a bunch of dirt and dust inside the glass. Okay, so what do I got here? I have this wire goes to the panel. So this is my feed wire. And then I have my two light switches. So this one, oh shoot, I forgot which one's which. This one is the 4 lights at the lower level. And this one is the 2 up at the peak. I have this one here. And then I have 2 more back there. And then I have 1 there. And then I have the 2 at the peak. So those 6 lights are on 2 switches. And I'm gonna come 2 fingers out from the box. So I don't need a lot. I just need enough wire to power everything. Okay. And I'm gonna keep my scraps because they come in handy later. Okay. Yeah, I first learned how to do this when I was, what was I, 13, 14 years old, working on, at the time he lived across the street from us, but he had just bought a big chunk of property out in the country. So he was taking me after school some days to go work on his barn. So keep in mind, if you have young boys, young men in your lives, get them out of the house from time to time, teach them some skills. Because it's amazing at just how little time I spent with that man and how many different little skills he taught me. And I think it was a beneficial thing. I think I was more help than harm back then. But I don't know, I was 13, so maybe he was doing it more out of charity than, you know, cheap labor. But looking back, I really appreciate the time that GT spent with me teaching me how to do some of this stuff. Alright, so quick side note. So I just mentioned that I learned a lot of this electrical stuff from working on my neighbor Barnes. His name was GT. This hammer was the first tool a man ever gave me. So I was 13 when I was working on his barn, and he gave me this framing hammer back then, and it had the waffles. But those waffles are now nice and smooth. I have had this hammer, and I've used this hammer for almost every project I've touched since I was that young. I'm, what, 36 this year? So you will be amazed, and you may never even hear about it, or you may never know about it, but when you have those young impressionable men and you're teaching them skills and you're treating them right, and you're not treating them like an employee, but you're treating them like an equal. But heck, let's be honest, they're 13, they don't know squat. I didn't know squat when I was 13. I thought I did. I thought I knew how to build stuff, but I didn't. That man had so much patience and let me be that cocky little kid, but still taught me so much and gave me this hammer. And this hammer is probably my favorite tool. And it's nothing special. It's a Stanley. It's not a cheap hammer, but by no means it wasn't an expensive hammer. It didn't cost him an arm and a leg. But just the appreciation I have for this, I mean, I love this hammer. I really do. It's one of the few tools that I actually have sentimental value for. I have a few of my grandfather's tools. I have sentimental value to those. I worked for another man through most of my teenage years, and he bought me so many things that I needed for the job site. He bought me boots, he bought me tool belts, he bought me speed squares. But let's be honest, boots don't last. I wore those suckers out. The tool belt, it was a cool tool belt. It ripped. I mean, I've tried patching it together for a few years, but it did not last. So, but I mean, those memories are still with me, and I still appreciate the effort that some of these men put into my life of teaching me different skills. And I'm not an expert at many things, but I know a lot of little things here and there because of the men that invested time in me as a child. But having skills to fall back on, if college and Ivy League college and all those great, wonderful degrees, if those don't pan out, giving young women, young men, those skill sets and the tools, literal tools, to go out and make it in the world, I don't know. It's something I feel like our society is lacking. I really think that that is something that's kind of gone to the wayside. I mean, people used to grow up on the farm working side by side with their dad and granddad all day, sunrise, sunset. And they were learning, they were working, they were doing. But the big thing was, they were learning and getting the tools for success. So that's kind of my little soapbox. Let's get back to wiring this up. Alright, so back to the wiring. I'm going to strip all of these about 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch. Couple of these will get wire netted, but most of them are going to be into the terminals of the light switches. So I have a temporary 110 power supply coming into my breaker panel. So that's why only half of this is hot. You should have both of these, and this one should all have wires along with the ground. So, but because I only have a 110 circuit and not a 220 circuit right now, that's not even an option for me, that's why it's wired this way. And we'll have a professional electrician come out and he will replace my temporary electrical hookup with a permanent one. those are the only 3 circuits I plan on having for this building. I have 3 more if we need to expand, but realistically we're running an air conditioner, 8 lights, 2 heat lights, and maybe 4 or 5 electrical outlets. So in my mind, this should be way overkill. 1 or 2 circuits should be more than enough to handle the load of this building, I would think. Oh, that's probably not good. Is that a problem? Huh. This might be an issue. Okay, I hope we're fixed. And when the electrician says that this is all good, if he doesn't address any of this, I'll come back. And I actually want to shorten some of these up so it's a nice, clean curves and it's not just a rat's nest of crap. Alright, let's see here. Light switch 1. Hey! 2. So that's the lights up top. That's all of them. That's none of them. Okay, so now I don't have to be using an extension cord anymore to get my power out here. I have 1 outlet that's hot. I have lights that are hot. So I can now function and work in the dark out here. I have the building supplied to power. I have lights that are working. I have the air conditioner that was working. Got 1 outlet on. Got spray foam in and dealt with, trimmed up today. Oh man, it's pushing midnight right now. I think that's about all I'm gonna do on the doghouse for the night. Mama Llama's gone for the next few days, so I had to be a little bit more primary parent today. She left mid-afternoon. So I wasn't really able to spend a whole lot of time out here today. Wish I had accomplished a little bit more. I was kind of hoping to have the electrical 100% done by tonight, but I still got quite a bit left to do. Run a few more wires, outside lights, outside electrical box, another electrical box down here. So I'm toying with the idea of doing a workbench here, and then basically like maybe a window seat here, because the pin is going to start here. So I think that would be kind of cool. Have a little spot for the girls to sit on. Maybe have a lid so we could store stuff in there. Maybe all the canned food or something. I don't know. Maybe like a little shelf up here for some stuff. But so if I have the workbench here, I'm going to probably need an outlet here. Or maybe up here. I'm not really sure yet. But I don't know. I'm pretty happy with what I've accomplished, but at the same time, I'm kind of sad that I didn't get further along. But, you know, I guess that's just kind of life. So, been talking to a friend. Hopefully I can get him to come up and give me a hand for 3 or 4 days. But my goal was to get electrical done. I did not meet that goal because my hope was then tomorrow to insulate 100% of the building. At this point, I'm going to be happy to probably just get the electrical 100% done because I'm going to be bouncing between this and the twins, so I don't know, but making progress, I guess. So, but I feel very low energy at this point. It's a lot of work. This is not a weekend job, but 2 people, this could probably be about a 2 weekend job, I would think. It's midnight now, so we had about 6 hours on it here. So technically I had about 8 hours of work on it today. Okay, so day 3 of the build. What do we got going on? Well, not a whole lot. We still have electrical to finish up. Spent a little bit of time in here today cleaning up so I can get around, kind of organizing the tools and things. Not nearly as far along on this project as I wish I was, but hey, what can you do? There's only so many hours in the day, and twins take up a lot of that time. So my hope is right there. I'm gonna try to put an outside light, and then up there in the peak, another outside light. I need to put in 1 more electrical outlet down here that's, well, actually 2. 1 for the inside, 1 for the outside. I should stop chatting and I should probably get to work, huh? But doing projects by yourself can suck sometimes. An extra hand would be really helpful, but oh well. Fingers crossed. I think I have a babysitter lined up tomorrow, so hopefully I can spend all day out here tomorrow. And the next day, I think Mama Llama's gonna be home and I might have a babysitter, so maybe I will have help. No, because I don't want to put this plywood up by myself. That would be miserable.